Imagine a wind-bitten shore under a ceiling of cold stars. Thousands upon thousands of years ago, a small clan huddles by a fire. Smoke stings their eyes as they name the constellations, trade stories, and with the first light, walk on. Across ice, savanna, and rainforest, humanity adapted. They carved memory into bone and paint, shared songs, and forged language to unite strangers. Belief gave meaning to a dangerous world, guiding them toward new homelands, and eventually toward fields of grain. In cradles of civilization across the globe, a revolution began. Wild grasses were coaxed into crops. Animals were drawn from the herd to the barn. For the first time, harvests outlasted the seasons, creating surplus. And with surplus came new possibilities and new problems. It drew guards, priests, and potters. Ranks hardened. Crafts multiplied. Villages thickened into towns, then into something tougher to govern. Power began to gather. Along the world's great rivers, the first states took shape. On the Nile and in Sumer, writing tracked grain and promises, while law etched disputes into clay. Bronze and later iron armed rulers. Monumental walls and temples displayed power to all who looked up. But these new tools of civilization posed an even larger question. How should we live together? In the Indian subcontinent, the Vedic tradition and Hinduism defined duty and cosmic order, while Buddhism offered a path beyond suffering. Farther east, Confucianism framed society as a family with virtue at its helm, while Taoism prized a quiet alignment with the natural way. In the Near East, Judaism bound a people to a covenant, shaping their laws, their schools, and the rhythms of home. Meanwhile, Greek thought taught doubt as a method, while empires like Persia built roads and canals that tied the world together. Their innovations, city grids, legal ideals, debates about the good life, are foundations we still build upon today.
Understanding these roots sharpens how we see our own world. A salt wind snaps new canvas as dawn breaks over the 15th century Indian Ocean. A teenage pilot leans into the tiller. The air is sharp with cloves and pepper. In that quiet moment, the hull meets the horizon, and the world begins to braid. Trade routes and faith routes tightened, pulling continents into conversation, but empires followed. The Columbian Exchange swapped crops and microbes, while the Atlantic slave trade tore families apart to build fortunes. Muskets and cannon remade authority. Borders hardened. Then Renaissance curiosity met the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment. Print multiplied dissent. Coffee houses buzzed with new ideas that challenged kings and custom. Who gets to govern and by what right? Factories tapped buried sunlight, and crowded cities reordered life in noise and soot. And besides conquest, resistance grew. The First World War shattered old certainties. A second global war destroyed them. Out of the ruins, new nations demanded their voice. Decolonization redrew the maps. The Cold War chilled alliances, and the call for human rights gained a global platform, even as abuses persisted. Now, the information revolution shrinks distance, and globalization accelerates everything. This history matters because your feed, your job, and your vote are shaped by these very forces. From genome editing to artificial intelligence, we still test how new networks reshape authority and ethics. Today's great challenges, inequality, pandemics, and climate change, cross all borders, demanding not just invention, but memory. And what comes next is already starting, if we know where to look.